tonight?
I think Secretary Clinton did a fantastic job. You saw our next president on that stage. This is someone who can do both parts of the job, get this economy working for the middle class again, get wages rising. But you also saw our next commander-in-chief. And it was a little interesting to see Senator Sanders. I think he kind of failed the foreign policy test. He was unable to answer 2 questions on Afghanistan, didn't even use the word Afghanistan in his answer, was a little unclear on the power structure in North Korea, and couldn't name the dominant, or rather was not able to answer the assertions of our Secretary of Defense on our leading national security threat. So, again, I think you saw our next president on that stage, and that was Hillary Clinton.
What do you think of Sanders' allegations when he brought up Clinton taking money from these interest groups and Wall Street?
Well, I think Secretary Clinton spoke very well on this. First and foremost, she went to Wall Street before the crash and spoke out against the reckless practices that eventually crashed our economy. Second, she has the strongest plan on this, and independent reviewers and economists have said this. She not only goes after the banks, she goes after the actual practices that caused the crash. And third, let's look at who the hedge fund billionaires are spending their super PAC money against. They're not spending against Bernie Sanders, they're spending it against Hillary Clinton. So I think it's clear who Wall Street knows will stand up to them as president.
What's the strategy going forward here in New Hampshire? Do you think she can make it a competitive race?
Well, we're fighting for every single vote. This is an uphill climb. There's some real structural challenges here. Every border state candidate, like Senator Sanders, who's run here in the last 30 years, has won. So that's a tough climb for us. But we're here. We're going to compete for every vote, just like we're going to compete in Texas and Nevada and South Carolina and across this country.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take
nice
care.
meeting you.
Yes.
Foreign policy, he didn't capture the moment as Hillary Clinton, of course, with the experience that she has. Where does he go forward in foreign policy to try and improve his stance on it?
Well, look, it's not a question of improving his stance. I think what he demonstrated is that through his years in the Senate, he has exhibited the judgment that the American people are looking for in terms of foreign policy. He's looking to create a foreign policy that is founded on American leadership, but that does not rely on America going it alone, with America's sons and daughters always being the one to sort of bear the brunt of this. He talked about a vision of not having Americans forever locked in a quagmire of the Middle East. He talked about creating more cooperation with allies and others so that the burden is shared. So I think he actually articulated a foreign policy that will be popular with a lot of Americans.
Now, as far as the back and forth about Wall Street and getting money as a presidential campaign finance, what does the campaign make of Clinton's campaign beating around the bush of taking money from interests and lobbyists, things like that?
Well, look, Senator Sanders' campaign is funded with small grassroots contributions from online, over 3.5 million contributions, averaging $27 apiece. It doesn't take money from big banks. So, his campaign is a people-funded campaign. Look, it is a problem in America that banks and Wall Street and financial interests and big corporations, fund campaigns, and they expect something back for it. And what we've got to do is we've got to break the grip of the large multinational corporations on our campaign finance system. We have a corrupt campaign finance system. It upholds a rigged economy that's sending almost all the new wealth and income to the top, and that's got to be ended.
Thank you so much, Jeff.